friends. Welcome back to Wish You Love Podcast. I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Marilyn.
And thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. And happy March.
Yeah, happy March.
We're officially in the new month, third month out of 12.
Wow.
Crazy to think. And if you've listened to the last episode, we were just talking about how quick February flew,
went. Yeah.
how slow January felt.
Yeah.
So let's see how March goes.
I hope slow. I like the slow months, honestly.
The slow months.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happens in March? St. Patrick's?
St. Patrick's Day.
St.
I think
Patty's.
this year, because last year I think Easter was in March, right? But I think this year it's in April.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct us if we're wrong, but exciting things are coming because as each month passes, we're getting closer and closer to her wedding, which she did send out the save the dates. Like I forgot to mention in the last episodes, but the picture is so cute. I love it.
Thank you, friend.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's becoming surreal.
Yeah.
So let's see how March goes. I pray that it brings us all blessings and new opportunities for growth and just, yeah, let's get into March.
Yes. And be sure to follow our Instagram if you haven't already. We put in a lot of work over there, so please check it out. Share if you like a reel. Like, don't feel like you're a weirdo if you comment or if you repost on your story. Like, that makes us happy. So please do so if you like something that we say and repost it, share it to a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, we'll jump into today's episode. So to kind of kick it off, we're going to talk about our song of the moment, our song of the month. What is that celebrity, artist, song, or playlist or whatever that we are just putting on replay over and over and over again?
Yeah.
So Marilyn, you want to kick us off?
Sure. So not a news flash. Obsessed with Kendrick Lamar. So excited. Meanwhile, her countdown is to her wedding. My countdown is to seeing Kendrick live. Yeah, that's coming up soon
April.
in May.
Oh,
In
May.
Yeah. So coming up soon. And yeah, so I've been just listening to the whole GNX album like back to back to back. Like when it ends, I refresh, I start it again. And I have it on vinyl, which is so exciting. I also have the short and sweet vinyl now. And I love having them because those two, like, since I commute to so many different colleges, I actually have dedicated albums to different colleges. So I'm kind of in rotation with short and sweet, GNX, and honestly, Eternal Sunshine. And there was another, I think, My Christian Music. But the GNX and short and sweet are kind of my top two where I'll just flip through those when I'm driving. Never miss. But the song I want to spotlight is actually from SZA's new album, but it features Kendrick Lamar, so I consider it a Kendrick song. But it's called 30 for 30, and it's a song that I just dance to when I'm getting ready in the morning. I listen to it. It's the first song when I'm about to work out because it's like, it's not a really fast, upbeat song, but it kind of gets you in that happy mood of like, getting ready to do whatever you're going to do. So yeah, 30 for 30. I'll link it down below if you guys haven't listened to it already. It's just really good.
30 for 30.
Yeah.
Love that. Awesome. I don't really listen to Kendrick or SZA like that, but I did see their Super Bowl performance.
Oh, yeah.
Which we didn't talk about last episode.
Yes.
But she did really good. They both did really good. I think their voices went well together.
That was my Super Bowl.
So,
yeah,
I'm sure.
No, yeah. I didn't care. The game sucked. We haven't talked about Super Bowl, but I literally have rewatched the Super Bowl performance because it's on Apple Music and I'll like stream it on my TV. And I've watched it several times. I watched it last night with Anthony. And it's kind of like me just enjoying him as if I'm in concert because I'll just put it on and I'll start dancing and singing as if I'm in a concert because the performance was just so good and every song's a banger and I just loved it so much. I was so happy when he performed. I'm like, you didn't disappoint, my love. You didn't disappoint. I didn't think you would and you didn't. So just so happy.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
They didn't do 30 for 30 though in the halftime show. I thought they were because that song at the time was like number one. So I thought, oh, this is like a main song with both of them. But they did All the Stars and Luther together, which was still good.
Yeah. So that's the most I've heard them together. But they did really good.
Yeah.
I feel like their voices really correlated together.
They do, yeah.
And maybe I'll check out 30 for 30.
30 for 30. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your song of the month?
My song, we're taking it back to Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, yes.
Sweet Princess here released her deluxe album. So that's been really, really good. I love favorite song from like the additional songs because they're all already like they slap. But Busy Woman.
I knew you were going to say that one. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So she did a really, really good job, and I'm just replaying it, trying to like listen to them a little bit more.
Learn the lyrics.
With the lyrics. Yeah. That's my like album girl artist of the month.
Love it. Yeah, you guys should definitely get the record if you can. It's at Target. I had gotten the regular one, but they have the deluxe one. And I like the regular one because the vinyl itself is pink, but the deluxe one has like her little kiss marks on it. And it's really cute. It's hard to choose which one is the better one. But yeah. I love it. That's a good one.
Yeah. She's such a girly pop, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's what I needed. I don't know if we talked about it in this episode, or maybe I shared with you, Marilyn, but do you remember like a year ago when I was like, I don't know who to listen to?
Yes.
Like, I need someone, because at that time, I think Ariana was on a pause, and then there was a whole scandal with her and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
No, it was that time. Yeah.
I'm glad.
I remember at the time Sabrina had stuff out, but you were like, it wasn't hitting like this album.
Yeah. But now when she's all full girly pop, I'm like, I can't wait for her next one.
So I have like a playlist of Sabrina that has like the new deluxe songs too. Cause like I said, when I commute, I like to just put it on shuffle, and like I love the songs. But actually, one song that I noticed that I like turn it up a little bit more is one of her older songs. It's
Feather.
No, All Because I Liked a Boy. I think Because I Liked a Boy.
Yeah.
Oh, that one is so sweet. And I remember I had went through something similar to her when I was like in high school, and I was like, it was very relatable, and I was like, oh, I love this song. And so that's kind of been like a song that I'll like kind of like turn up a little louder.
Yeah.
I will say Espresso bangs. Anthony always plays it still, but I kind of always skip it now just because of how played out it's been.
Yeah.
Like all her other songs like Slim Pickens, I'll turn that one up a little louder.
Juno.
Yeah, Juno's another good one. Yeah. Taste has always kind of been like one that like when it came out, it felt overplayed for some reason to me. But I'll still like have it in the background, but it's a whole good album. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, well, comment down below if you have any song, artist, playlist of the month that you'd like to share with us.
I think both of our artists are kind of trending right now. So at the same time.
Yeah. So if you can relate to either girly pop world or hip hop, like, let us know.
Yeah. Both great albums.
Yeah.
But okay, so I have the message for today's episode, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So I put it in here, and it says, years in the making. Don't rush through life. And so we're going to talk about different things in our life that have been years in the making, and reminding yourself that you will get there, and the things that you are doing now and that you have done in the past are preparing you for those moments. But as well, if you are somebody who compares yourself to others, like, man, we're both 27 years old and they have a house, or we're both 27 years old and they're getting married, or maybe younger than you and they're getting married. But we're going to talk about the work you have to put into to get to that point, and how it is years in the making. And maybe you are in the years time period of that goal or thing that you're working towards, and to not rush through life, because the waiting process or the working towards it process is honestly better than the journey. The journey is better than the end goal itself, because the end goal always goes by so fast, and the journey is always worth it in the end. So Jasmine's going to give some examples, but I'm going to go first of things you're working towards and how it's years in the making. Like, for example, for work, I'll start with work. I am a very young professor. I became a professor at 26 years old. And so a lot of times, like, people look at me and they're like, does she really know how to be a professor? Or is she even qualified to know how to teach us, or things like that? But what they don't realize is the background and how many years it took me to get not only my associates, not only my bachelor's, but my master's degree as well. And this position, I may look young, but it was years in the making. Like, I'm teaching you, but it's not just like, I'm not just granted this spot and just like came out of high school or something like that. No, it was a lot of time studying, a lot of like work for passing the comprehensive exams in order to get that degree. It was years in the making. It took a lot of hard work for me to get to that point. And so it's important for you to remember like, oh, I'm in this position because of all that hard work that I have done in the past, right? Another thing was like relationships and, being with Anthony for, oh my goodness, this is March. Next month will be the 7th year. Being with him, well, technically I was already with him, but we weren't official yet in the month of March. But like being with him and by his side for all these 7 years, and like maybe you are in a starting off relationship and like maybe you guys bicker, maybe you guys are still trying to find out your love languages, or maybe you're with somebody for 2 years and you're not engaged or, getting married like Jazmine. But something important to remember is like, for example, Jazmine's relationship has been years in the making. The reason why Anthony and I know each other so well, and we've been years in the making. And so it's important to give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace in your life and enjoy the journey. Enjoy that beginning part of the relationship. Enjoy hard, but enjoy being a student. I didn't, but I know like Jazmine, she did. And so I hope you guys do too. But, life goes by really fast. And I wanted to also mention that it's so important to kind of like sit back and recognize how far you come, but also recognize that maybe you're in that space of the years in the making of like you're doing your time to get to where you want to get to. And I just felt like it was very prevalent with, other than working out in a relationship, mostly like with work. And because a lot of people maybe will think I'm like too young or I don't know what I'm doing, but it took a long time to, in my head, 7 years, because that's how long I was in college, is a long time. And so it felt very much like daunting and like, oh my God, like so much stress. And so for when you get to that place and then people kind of make it seem like you didn't put in the work or the time to get there, you can feel a certain way. Again, don't rush through life. It's important to enjoy the journey and enjoy that process of getting to that place, because although I didn't enjoy my student process, I definitely think there were things I could have done to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, if maybe I didn't work so hard, like at work and saving money, I think I could have enjoyed school a little more, because I kind of like tried to save up money and work as many hours as I could, as well as like full-time work school. And I think if I just did school and if I just was involved in school like you were, like I know you work too, but like how you were involved in things on campus, I think it would have been a more enjoyable process. And like even living on campus, like I'm excited for my brother. He's leaving soon. This is his senior year and he's going to actually like go to school, and like he doesn't have to work and he's just going to enjoy being on campus. And a part of me is kind of like, damn, like I wish I had that experience. And I'm so happy for him that he's going to be able to experience that. And before he leaves, I'm definitely going to tell him to recognize like that this is such a privilege and such an opportunity to enjoy those 4 years. Because if you don't have to work, which I hope he does, because it's important to work, especially your last 2 years, but that's a whole nother conversation. But especially the first 2 years, like he doesn't have to, because honestly, the first jobs you get when you're 18, 19, you don't really put that on the resume anyways, usually. Like, I don't have my Jersey Mike's job on my resume, but it's important to enjoy it. Enjoy every phase that you are in your life.
I love that, Marilyn. I think it's a really nice reminder to just remember that, yeah, things do take time. Even though you might see something that you really, really want and, are waiting for that moment or that person to come, and you see others around that already have it maybe, or already, are there. I think it's nice to remind yourself, like, give yourself grace. That person took time to get there too. Like, yeah, the years in the making, I think, is a really nice reminder for people. I know for me personally, what I can think of right now, the two main things is for sure like marriage and my wedding, and like how that's coming up and how it's such an exciting time right now. And before we know it, it's going to be there. But you know, it has been years in the making. It has been like planning and sacrificing and financially being on the same boat together. And it's just, you know, when people come to our wedding, and I hope if it comes out the way I'm imagining it's going to come out, I hope there's no thoughts of like, dang, like how did they do that? Or how did they have that? Or how can they have afforded that? Or why did they have like, I hope it is, yeah, this is a good one of like, hey, like it took years for us to financially save for this moment. I share this with my friends. I don't know if I've shared here before, but Angel and I talked about marriage within our end of second, beginning of third year of being together. And we were pretty much on the same boat in terms of like, okay, like we want to get married. We obviously still kept it open because we were still fresh. It was only 2 to 3 years. Anything could happen. But that plan of like, this is how much we're going to save individually to make it happen. We're not going to joint accounts. We're not going to mix money. We're not even going to tell each other like, oh, I already hit it, or I'm like that. It was just, this is the goal. We both signed and agreed on it. And that was that. And that way we always left it open because life happens. And it was always, hey, like if one day like we break up, it's not going to hurt that we have X amount saved up. Like it's still saved and it's still in your own, in each other's own account and everything. But it was years, like I said, end of second year, early third, that we had agreed on this amount to save up. And that amount also included for a place to live, where we said we need to have like an approximate X amount to put it for a down payment. And that's what we're going to do. And so, yeah, now that things are now finally moving, you know, obviously, like I said, 3 years ago, I didn't know if I knew in my heart I wanted to marry this man, but I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. But that was years of just planning and saving and saving, making sacrifices. I think we forget sometimes, like, you got to make those sacrifices to get what you want. So, you know, it was moments where like, as much as I really, really, really wanted that new Juicy Couture like purse, like I turned it away because I was like, that's something I could put towards that savings so I can hit that goal or whatnot. And so, like I said, this was just years of just planning and saving. And now that it's becoming more real, and now that, you know, my wedding's in 6 months, and we're currently happy to share in the process of potentially finding our new casita and like finding our place where we can live and where we can be, it's becoming so surreal and such a blessing, because it's like, wow, finally, like all of the years of like planning and saving and hard work and sacrifices, they're now going to like pay off, because we're going to be able to check mark and say, okay, we're having the wedding of our dreams. We're having, you know, a place where we can live, where we can start our family and our marriage. And it was years in the making. And I know that a lot of people around us will probably question things, and we'll probably question our wedding, or how did we afford that? Or maybe even question like our living situation, like why them? Or how can they do that? How can I not? How, you know, why am I 30 and I don't have a boyfriend yet, or I'm not married? I don't know, whatever the case is. But yeah, I think that's a good reminder of like, hey, like just, I was once in your position too. Like we're all, does not matter like the age, or I guess the situations in life, is just reminding like we'll all get there. It's just going to take time, and it's going to look differently, and it's going to be years. So just be prepared and continue to plan, and just pray, and just know that it will come for everyone and for you too.
And something else important that I was just thinking of, for the outside perspective, it's kind of like sudden on all these things you can say, like whether it be like you saving money, whether you know, getting your house, be like, what, how they do that? But they don't realize the background work and how, you know, so when were you guys, like you said, 2 years you guys started talking about it?
Yeah, like end of our second, early third.
What year was that?
we're about to hit 5.
Right.
So we got together 2020. So like 2022?
2022. Oh, around the time I met you?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2022 is when I met you, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 2022. So can you imagine 2022 to 2025 of saving up money? That's years in the making of it shouldn't be, for the outside, of course, they're going to not realize all the hard work and like probably just assume things, but it's been years in the making. And especially in this economy, there's no way to like not prepare beforehand. Like you have to kind of be preparing years ahead in order to own a home or even to get married. Geez, even small weddings are really, really expensive. So, yeah.
I think too, sorry to add on to what you're saying, like, okay, we're thinking about an outside perspective. You're right. I think news like this or like you getting a full-time job, like, it's like,
I know.
Like,
yeah, that's true.
How? Why? Like, what?
Yeah.
But it is true. Like, you don't see the back end work. And then I know personally for me, I don't go around promoting that either.
Right.
I shared once on the podcast that my mom always taught me, like, don't share until you're ready and don't share until it becomes real.
Yeah.
And that's like something that it's like, okay, like I never shared like, oh, we're saving this much money and or hey, like I can't do that because we have to save X amount of money. Like, it was all like private behind the scenes doing the work. Of course, little here and there, like, oh, I'm a little tight on money. I need to save. Like, I can't. But nothing where we're going around promoting. Marilyn, I've never, like, well, you share with me, but I think it's because we're close friends.
Right.
But not to the public saying, like, I am studying X amount of hours and applying to X amount of jobs.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you've kept that to yourself.
Like, I don't post it on my main Instagram or anything like that.
It's like your behind the scenes work.
Right.
To get there. And so I think also that's a good thing, like, also as an outside perspective, reminding yourself, like, you don't know. You just know it's years in the making, but you don't know how long or what, but it's for sure been a while.
Right. And then like also I just think of like my graduation day of like, you see all the accolades and like the big achievements that I have done. And like from the outside perspective, you may be thinking like, oh my gosh, like she just does that so effortlessly, or how did she even do that so young? Like I've had people like kind of say that, or I've overheard them say that.
Yeah.
And it's also like, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to save up money for a marriage. It wasn't easy to get my master's degree. It wasn't easy to get this job as a professor. All these things aren't easy because it takes a long time to accomplish it. And most big things in life take a long time to accomplish. Most really great things in life sometimes happen like even longer than years, sometimes decades down the line. And that just means it was worth the wait, right? It was worth all the sacrifice. It was worth all the hard work, because that was something I was scared of when I was getting my degree. I was really worried that all of this hard work and all this sacrifice was not going to be worth it, and that I would be disappointed with my degree. And I can happily say that I'm not disappointed with it, just because of making like 17 an hour to like how much I'm making now. It's night and day, and it should be from, a master's to not having one. But it was worth it. And again, like you having to decide not to get your juicy purse, it was worth it, because now you have a home, now you have a beautiful wedding. And I know people don't see the value in a wedding and they're just thinking that it's not worth spending $30,000 on. But at least for me, and you can speak on this too, it's worth the money for me. And this is why. You only do it once in your life. Let's say you have $30,000 in your bank account and you never use it. You die and it just sits there. It goes to your grandkids. They spend it on stupideces. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you never use it. Money is meant to be spent on things that are going to bring us joy and bring us life. And marriage, or a wedding, I should say, because marriage is like your whole life, but a wedding is such a big moment, and it's only once. You should only do it once in your life. And so it's worth it. It's worth to celebrate with all your closest people. It's worth to have that dream dress. It's worth it. And that's just, in my opinion. I know some people don't agree, but I will happily spend the money on that, because it's something that you dream about for your whole life.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And remember on.
I agree. I've said this before. little Jasmine's like excited.
Yeah.
Like this is like something that I've always dreamed about.
Yes.
I would watch novelas. I grew up watching novelas. I don't watch TV. I watch novelas, and I grew up with that. And that's always typically the end of the novela.
Aww,
Happy ever
really?
after, right?
Okay.
Like they get married. It's always usually like a wedding scene or some sort of that.
Okay.
And so it's like, yes, like I've been dreaming about this. I've been wanting this. And I know Angel, for example, he was kind of team like no big wedding. Like he was kind of like no, like let's just do like our immediate families or something like that. But now that he's going through this experience, he can now say like he's been enjoying it.
Yeah.
He's been enjoying like being able to have groomsmen and like asking them and doing the save the date. So just share that we just started doing those like this past month. And even then, like going through that guest list, he said, and it made me like so happy because I was like, you're so right. And like, this will be the first time that we'll have like all our people together, like all the people that we love. Because if you think about it, when you do birthdays, maybe graduations, like you'll invite people you love, the main people. But it's mostly smaller, more intimate.
Like 20 people max.
Right. Or broken up. Right. Sometimes birthdays for me, like I break them up. Like sometimes I just do things with my girlfriends and then another group of friends and other coworkers and stuff. This would be the first time it's like, dude, we have all of the people that we love, that know us, that have seen our relationship, that like are going to be happy to be there like in one space, like in one venue. We're going to have them. We're going to be able to dance with them. We're going to be able to sing with them. We're going to drink and eat and take photos. And like, it's just, like worth the money. I agree for us at least now. Cause now it's like, okay, we're never going to be able to get this again.
You're right.
So this is a moment that's worth making it exactly what we want and what we dream of.
And I'm excited to like hear your tips and like for everybody else of like what you should do, what you shouldn't do on your wedding day, things you have learned from this whole experience. It's going to be nice like learning from you. And it's a very exciting thing. And I love how you said the novelas is kind of like where you get because every little girl thinks about it. And it is, I never thought of like how we think about it, but it is true. It is from like film. For me, it's always been Disney princesses and movies like Steel Magnolias. And I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's an older movie with Dolly Parton. It's so precious. Very good. And I actually have like a whole list of like the father of the bride. That one's a big one. Me and my mom watched growing up. And so like all these like little centered movies around weddings, or My Big Fat Greek Wedding is another one that I love. It reminds me a lot of my grandma, the mom, and like my family. All those movies like My Big Fat Greek Wedding are just kind of what made me think about my wedding when I was little. So it is so interesting to think of like, when was the first time a little girl kind of thought of their wedding? And since then, it's been years in the making, like whether it's been 5 years old, the first time you've seen Cinderella, or, Sleeping Beauty, or any movie like that. Like almost all the princess movies have like a wedding of some sort. Rapunzel, Tiana, like they kind of all do. Oh, Ariel. I love that ending scene. But they all kind of have their own like little wedding scene. So when you're little, you think like, oh my gosh, when am I going to meet my prince? When am I going to experience that? And so it's so exciting I don't know why I was getting emotional. It's so exciting to like go through that process of like, I was just thinking, because me and Anthony have been talking about the same thing. Well, actually, me and Anthony were talking about getting married, like our first like 7 months of being together. It was pretty quick, like when we met each other. And but I remember when I had met Anthony and when I really knew he was my person, I remember going to his house, leaving his house, driving home to my grandma's house at the time, and I was praying to God, and I had to pull over like on our street and just cry because I was like, I found my prince, God, I found him. That's why I was getting emotional saying the word prince, because when I say prince, I think of him, because that was something and I'll tell this like later on, but like that was something that I was really, really praying for. So even the fact of finding him was years in the making. Like he was something that I was praying for, what I was dreaming about, thinking about. Like I would tell my friends, like I was like, oh yeah, like when I get married, like I have no boyfriend, I'm 19 years old. I was like, I'm gonna sing At Last to my husband at his wedding. Like I would talk about that stuff like prior, because it was years in the making. Like this whole vision is years in the making, and you have to be like that with your life. Like if you want something, you have to prepare your mind before and take action to get what you want. And so you can't just, like we said in like 2 episodes ago, you can't stay home. You need to go out and seek him and find your prince or princess. Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. Everything is years in the making.
Yeah.
You're going to hear this over and over and over again in this episode, but I think it's so important. And like I said, such a good reminder.
Yeah.
Years in the making.
Yeah. And enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy those years.
Enjoy the destination.
Yeah.
And get ready for the next years of making for the next chapter.
I know. You know me, I'm already I'm like, all right, that one's done. Let's go to the next part. Yeah. I'm excited. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. And I hope you guys really pondered on this idea of what have you been working on in your life? What has been in the years in the making? What have you already accomplished? And you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that did take some years just to get to where I am now. And think about it. And I hope you guys have like a great beginning of March.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. We hope you enjoyed it. And above all else,
we wish you love. Bye, friends.